Welcome, everybody, and thank you for tuning in with us to get it out.
Yeah.
So, what's going on, brother?
Nothing much, man. We decided to do tonight's topic on brotherhood, and I think really a great topic just simply because a lot of times without the help of others, without the encouragement of others, um, you get that feeling of being alone. All of us have that person that's given us that extra push. Um, Somebody that can empathize with the places we've been, and it's not just help, but continue to be a rock, somebody that you can lean on, somebody that's there to support you and help you. Not going to really let you say, "Hey, man, you're giving up" or anything else. They're there for you throughout, no matter what, thick or thin.
Let me throw a couple things at you. Being a part of a brotherhood helps us to head in the right direction.
Yeah, most definitely. Even through most of my youth, I was still able to excel at athletics. Um, Being a part of that group of people allowed me to at least tread water, until it got to a point where, everything overflowed, and that could only go so far. But still, even in my youngest times, even with the times where I felt there was a lack of a male role model, there was still a fraternity or group of people that saw that there was ability, and they wanted me to be a part of that. So most definitely from that perspective was huge for me, because without that, I'd have probably been in jail at even an earlier age.
And I got something for you. Because I'm sitting over here and everything you said is what I was looking for, because of course we know that if you are around people who are doing things and making just better decisions, then that's the crowd you choose to be around. I didn't want that answer back. I wanted it from, because I was great at sports, but it still didn't change the fact that I grew up in the crack era.
Right.
And it was so easy to get money so young, and the money was more important than anything that I was doing, even as a kid. So let's get to our quote of the day.
All right. Quote of the day. So today's quote is brotherhood. Don't call me brother unless we know it's real. Don't call me brother unless we are brothers. Just because we might have things in common doesn't mean we are brothers from another mother. Brothers have simple rules to live by. We don't lie or steal from a brother. We will never leave a brother behind. We constantly watch out for each other. If I know you have my back, most assured I will always have yours. Call upon any time that you might be in need. I will come even if I have to bust through a locked door. I will never mess with you, your old lady, and they will be as safe as they are my own. I will fight for you or even give up my own life. There is no greater love to be known. Those that say you can't choose family don't understand the meaning of brotherhood. I choose to call you my brother for life, through the bad and the good.
But the thing that stops a lot of us brothers for truly being there and supporting each other is our egos.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as a man, and you being a brother to someone who's not your blood, could possibly be your blood, but having that person, they're gonna see and understand things from a man perspective,
Right.
that we're not seeing because of our ego.
I grew up in the suburbs. You grew up in the, down the.
Period. Point
You
blank.
grew
You
up in
can
the
say
hood.
it the hood.
No, you did. You grew up in the hood, and two different aspects, two different starting points. But we each meet 2 years ago, and just through a couple conversations, we had huge similarities, parallel lives to so many things, and both of us were to the point where, man, it would be cool if we could get that message out there and just say, like, if we could come out of this, anybody can. And
This is for our brothers who might be at certain stages in their life that we were in. And it's okay to admit when you're wrong. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to talk to your brother if you're willing to listen to what you asking your brother.
I think that especially when you get hurt, when you experience a lot of pain in your life, it's a natural thing to callous over a little bit, toughen yourself up, so you can't get hurt. I mean, people can do whatever the hell they want on the outside, but nobody ever gets to your inside, and that causes not only you don't allow yourself to emotionally get hurt, but you also don't allow yourself to really have emotions. With that, you also don't allow people to trust. You don't trust anybody because you're not going to let anybody in there and get to know you and actually help you. I have a few friends right now that in and out of jail, major heroin addiction, and I still try to reach out to them, but they've experienced some extreme trauma, and they want to keep living in that trauma. They want to keep living in that pain. You get things that it's crazy, the things that happen to us in those formidable years before we're young teenagers and we can really start fighting back. And you're gonna come at me, that's cool, but by 14 and 15, if you were gonna hurt me, I'm gonna hurt you too.
Right.
But there's some people that experience that much pain and trauma that they're never able to really open up and trust anybody, and it's a sad thing because I have nothing but love. There's a couple people I have in my heart right now, and I wish more than anything if they would call, I'd be there to help them out.
But see, that's the gift and the curse about life. We brothers going through trauma, depression, financial struggles. We still are in control of our thoughts and our actions. And I done did things that no, I'm not proud of in life. But I knew what I was doing. I knew the decisions that I was making. And never once did, I did 14, 15 years old. Me and one of my friends who actually used to go out and steal cars, we took two of our friends who they weren't into the things that we were into. We just all grew up since kids together. And we got we got caught in Newport, Kentucky, and stealing off a car lot. I don't know what it was.
How old were you?
We were 14.
Man, it's crazy. Me and Will ain't making this stuff up. This is on the fly. I stole my first car at 15, and I drove a car through RS Ford down in Loveland. We were drunk, and man, I think we were doing a bunch of stuff. Me and this guy. I still know the guy. I'm still friends with him, but I busted through the back of the dealership, got in there. I drove the car right through the showroom window, man. It almost killed the guy.
No, we ain't. No.
And end of the day though, I end up getting caught for that one.
We didn't do all that, man. We just used to pick the box off the window.
Oh, okay. And then take the car. Yeah.
but these particular cars wasn't starting for us, and police whipped down on us, and only thing I'm thinking of, like, that my two dudes. This ain't. I almost talk them into coming. Like, it's so easy. Just come on, y'all.
Yeah.
And almost got both of them records. But it didn't happen. And
Yeah, stuff we do as kids.
well, stuff we do as kids. And from that day on, I never tried to influence any of my friends who to this day I call brother.
Yeah, I definitely became more of a loner, especially once it was just when I had that I don't give an F attitude. You know?
I didn't become a loner.
I mean, there were people around me, but you surround yourself. I mean, I think everything in your life becomes a reflection of how you are on the inside. And if you're filled with hate and just a rage for life, you're gonna surround yourself with some pretty crazy people. I mean, a rough group of people that you typically wouldn't if you're solid and you're happy and fulfilled and with where you're at.
But that's
because I don't hang out with none of them dudes that I used to hang with. And
we are different. Like me and my friends, and I don't get to hang out as much because I'm always on my hustle. But
yeah,
we do make sure we see each other and hang out at least sometime. But we've been friends since 5 and 10 years old.
Oh yeah, those guys that I know from there. But I'm talking about the stuff that you do some of your hardcore stupid stuff with from the time. I mean, that were just really good drug buddies, and some of those guys are dead now too.
Right. I still have friends who are still making their decisions.
Right.
And it's like the only thing I could do is make sure they see that I'm trying to live a better life, and make sure they see that like, look, if you just choose to do different and not risk your life, then it really is a better living out here. And that's about all I can do is when they give me the opportunity to speak those things to them, because, I mean.
Don't you find it tough, though? See, here's the thing. Like, if you're doing what I'm doing, then I got everything's cool. But if you're still actively using heavy drugs and destroying yourself, it's kind of hard to still be that good bond. That if they were on my level, I'd definitely. I mean, that'd be. But there's a totally different. And I know you have to have friends like that as well. But just like a couple of these guys that I was thinking of right now, this guy's looking at doing 8 years now.
Right.
Fucking did heroin, passed out at the wheel, and killed, hit mother and her 2 children, and the mom's mom was in there too, and the mom's mom died.
Wow.
So that's your addiction now, is killing people.
Bet is his bad decision.
And
and it's the same.
It's the crazy thing though is that his pain though was brought to him unwillingly.
Right.
His suffering, though, he has continued to do on his own.
I mean, and this, this sometimes, like, and I know when you're in that state of mind, especially as a man, you it's hard to see it like this, but the way you fight to get high, at some point in time, like, you have to fight for your life.
Yeah.
Like, ever was it a time during your addiction that something was telling you, like, look, you deserve better, you could do better?
Oh man, it's funny you said that, because I was thinking about it today when I woke up. I remember, first off, my middle son Riley, he'd always say, "Daddy, stay here, stay," and I had such a bad crack addiction that I was literally going down to Red Bank, and if it was either Red Bank or Vine, but I was going down to Red Bank that night, and every exit on the way down, I would get off and try to make myself pull around because I didn't want to go. With all my beat, there was something inside me, and I was crying, and it was such a fight. And I lost that night because I did end up getting cracked. But yeah, there was definitely something that was like, this is not for you, man. You got a better life. It was the constant struggle for 20 effing years, man. 20 years I had to go through just something inside me ultimately pulled through. And I like to think that speaking of brotherhood and, just one of the best male influences, I really feel like my grandfather, even after death, stayed with me and kind of helped push me through and fight some of the demons. I mean, because I know I couldn't have done it on my own, but when my youngest son was 19 or was a baby, I did a little line. I never liked really doing downs, but this night I did a little line of heroin and I ate like 4 or 5 Xanax, and I passed out and went into respiratory arrest, not cardiac arrest. And I'm laying there on the hospital bed, and my grandfather had died 2 months before that, and I lived with my grandparents from the time I was 14 on. And so I'm coming to, and I see my grandpa, and he's like, "It's not your time, buddy. But if you don't change, you're going to be in store for a lot more pain." He said, you can do it. And then he just kind of faded away. And it took about another 15 years after that for me to finally, say enough's enough. But yeah, there was always something inside me. And I think there was always the people that have loved me, truly just that have always supported me, even after death, have also supported me as well. And I'm a true believer in that.
And when you talk, man, I don't be trying to be funny when I be telling everybody like, look, Big Pat is just a big bundle of love. Like, y'all, you understand what I'm saying? And I feel your pain. Anytime you talk, I know others feel your pain from your addiction that you were fighting and that you fought through.
But one of the big things now is that I heard this analogy, and this Hindu yogi had said that all of our pain, all of our traumas, all of our regrets are like potatoes. If you leave a potato out too long, it starts to vine. You have to keep all your pain and all those experience, because that's life experience. That's invaluable. That's priceless, because your experiences helps others not experience the same things. Right. You get to shine a light. Hey man, there's a huge hole right there. You do not want to fall down that. We get to share our brotherhood with others. And that's the whole beauty of this thing, is that coming from two different opposite ends of the spectrum, and able to, with both our experiences come together, that it shines a light on so many, because there's so many people that are still where we were.
I mean, it's real, recognized real. Of course we had, without addicts, we couldn't be drug dealers.
Right.
Without drug dealers, we couldn't be jack boys. So
right.
Everything needed everything. And my addiction was, I was willing and was going to do whatever I had to do to get that money when I was trying to get that money in the streets. And I loved what I was doing. Not even, 14 years in prison. Like, I didn't pray to get lesser time. I knew if they truly had me, they had me. Right. I wasn't going to cry about it. I wasn't going to pray about it. But I pray to always try to not be the person mentally who I once was, because I loved making the decisions that I was making to get money. Mm-hmm. And God blessed me to be able to be in a business to make more money than I was happy making bad decisions. It's a beautiful thing for me. No, I don't want and didn't want my son to follow my path. I don't want anyone to, but some people that's all they feel they have. And you can't fault a person for only knowing what they know.
No, and I also think that, especially with our kids, when our kids see us do bad habits, it's hard, and especially if we're constantly practicing those same bad habits, you can't tell them not to do it. They're going to listen, just like we weren't going to listen either. I think the big picture here, though, is that we both have we both have sons that have, they've made mistakes, and I think there was a time when I felt responsible for all my kids' mistakes. Like, this was all because of everything I did for all this time. But now I've reached a point that, look, I'm doing what I need to do, and I'm representing myself as a father and as a man and as somebody that you can depend on. I want to be somebody that's seen with respect, and people want to hear what I have to say, especially my kids. So the decisions they make now are totally on them. I'm not. All I can do is love my kids.
Yeah, but brother, that's what this show came. It's called Get It Out. I can't even say maybe 3-4 years ago, man, it is hard being a man and to accept, like, I am going to live and judge and decide and make decisions not with my ego being a part of it. Like,
Yeah,
brother, that is hard.
I'll tell you. Yeah, it is, because when you're all ego,
not even if you're all, if
Even
you allow the ego to be a part of it.
I think when you do that, it takes out the ability to truly, wholeheartedly help others, because you're really kind of still focused on you, and
Because we ain't gonna allow ourselves to wholeheartedly.
right. You're not going to allow you.
That's the ego.
You have a brother that comes into a business with you, and he's just trying to get his foot in the door and get started. If you have a lot of ego, you may not help that person out too much, because it's all about you. If he's truly your brother, though, you help him out, and he sells 16 and a half cars his first month, coming out the gate.
You would do the same for me.
Yes, I would. Absolutely.
But that's because I don't want anyone to ever think that we do not have reactions that are emotional.
Oh, gosh.
We make sure we step outside our establishment. Whichever one of us tell how we felt about what just happened, and snap back.
That's
is
it.
over, because right now we are out on our hustle.
Right.
In this business, period, point blank. But it is hard as a man. We both notice that whether it's work, whether it's with a family member, whether it's with a friend, whether it's with our woman, it is hard to, when something happens or something occurs, that we wholeheartedly base our reaction and decision wholeheartedly, man. Like, that is so hard as a man, but I'm glad I learned that it's not being soft.
No, it's not being soft. It's allowing life to come at you and not have an emotional reaction to everything that comes at you in life. And it gets easier to do when you're not having to, like, there's been several times where both of us in the last month, I felt like I just reverted back 4 years ago, and I was just just a monster, a crazy man again. You know, all emotions, just ready to fight somebody or something. And I'm thinking, man, look how far I've come. And then, you know, something happens, and 5 minutes later, you're like, wow, this thing's still right under the surface. It seems like, but you have a brother there that reminds you, hey, man, you know, you're grounded. I got you. You got an anchor here. You just got to come back down because you had your time. You got your moment. Let's let that stuff go.
It's about a goal.
Mm-hmm. It's not about a moment. It's not about these things that are going to keep coming at you. Because if every day you're going to have something that happens that is unpleasant or it's just not what you would want. Now, just because something unpleasant comes, you know, you get this one variable, unpleasantness, doesn't mean that you have to have a negative reaction to unpleasantness and then come up with another problem. You just create more problems. That's all you're doing.
And it's disturbing what the whole vision, and you can't allow anything to disturb you from constantly moving forward towards your vision and your goal.
Yeah. It's easier to do when you have a tribe, when you have a brotherhood,
Yes,
when you have people that have a common goal and they're there to help push you. And the universe,
because we don't want to put that drama on our woman.
Not at all. But the universe brings people into your life that help you, and you have to look for those people. There are people that come into your life, and you have a common theme. You have a common. There's something that pushes you guys into that arena, and it's up to you to act. Without it's not just acknowledging it. You have to act upon that. And if you use the tools the universe brings to you, there's nothing that'll stop you.
And see, I know I got a fight on my hands, but it's a beautiful fight because, you know, coming from where I come from, I know how it feels where, you know, a lot of us men, you know, because a lot of fathers weren't there.
Right.
And so it's a certain way that, you know, we had to think growing up in the hood and who we felt we had to be growing up in the hood for the fathers who weren't there. So for them to change their mentality or their way of thinking, it's like, this is what took me through the jungle. And I'm still alive and I'm still here.
And I still think that I still got a long way to go sometimes, but I do. I hear it more and more. Like, man, you're just like talking to a smiley face on the side of a barn. Like the big pit, like you just always want to see, like somebody even called it like toxic positivity. And I'm like, you know, I don't think there is such a thing as toxic positivity. I think when you come from real severe pain, you get to a point, and I think it's something that you have to meditate on, but you get to a point when you realize that there's no more, even your worst day now isn't going to be anything like it was where you were.
Period.
That's it. You're going to have a couple bad days, but you're not going to ever be where you were.
But this the thing, we see when we have a bad energy or we allow whatever to make our energy bad, we see how our days go.
Yeah.
So it's like common math. Try not to let anything bother you.
Just
think like when I'm forced to recognize negative, or you know, that gets me upset. Like, bro, I don't even want to recognize this.
I don't either.
And you're gonna make me recognize it. Like, so, like, why you want me to get upset? You know what I'm saying? Because like I don't want to.
Right.
Things are better when I don't have to acknowledge it that I seen or I feel that negative. I just make it don't have to. I feel great.
Having to accept negative emotions is a tough thing, but having someone close to you that can call you out on it, you know, and say,
sir.
look, you know, look at you, you're acting like a psychopath, man. Like, what are you talking about? Talking about knocking somebody out. I mean, I'm just going to knock his teeth out and just teach him a little lesson. That's all he needs. Just a little lesson. And knuckle him up a little bit.
You know?
But yeah, then people have to, I think all the successful people have a good supporting tribe, a good supporting group around them. because you have to have it. There's too much in this world getting thrown at us every day that's trying to knock us off course.
Yes.
There's always a strong tailwind of negativity, and I think I'm glad that we get to be sort of a counterbalance to that, because we're just trying to put out hope and understanding and empathy and love to everything that's there's nothing that you can't say or do or tell us that we can't probably say that we've experienced
Yes.
as well.
And I know being a man, it's hard. And that's not saying that being a woman isn't hard, but we're talking about brotherhood right now. And being a man is hard.
And especially being on the street, I think this takes it to another level, because I'm not even going to pretend like, besides getting hit, I didn't get beat up by kids on the street. My getting beat up was a whole different kind, but still, we're taught to not show emotions.
Yes.
That has to be a whole different something that I can't even fathom. But talk about how growing up, I'm sure in the situation you were in, showing emotions was off the damn table.
It was the emotion you show is, don't make me mad.
Yeah.
Because outside of that, it's like you can't and you couldn't show any type of
kindness.
It's a weakness.
Yeah.
And to where, man, I think I was maybe 40, 41 years old before I understood that it wasn't a weakness. And it's not a weakness because I know who I am. And I don't have to act like the person that I once was, because I chose not to live that life no more.
Yeah.
Period. If it was by force or however, like, I chose not to live that life no more because I saw myself going back to prison. Period.
Yeah. And I think that, and coming from where I've come from too, you never want to give up on those people that have been close to us. And still,
my people ain't give up on me.
Right. That's why I still hope for a call from one of my guys. Like, I'm ready to go to rehab, and I'm gonna and I'll be right there to take him.
That's what you're supposed to.
And I send him a text, and I don't even know if he gets it anymore. I don't know if he still looks on the messenger or not, but I send him both messages every day, trying to just saying, man, if I can make it out of this, you can too. And I'm hoping that one day they're like, you know what, he's right, because they knew how bad I was. They knew I was damn near dead. You can't do half a gram of meth a day and half a gallon of vodka and make it that long.
Before we end this show, I wanna just say we created this show for people to start reaching out to us, and you don't have to expose your name. If you got something that is inside of you and you need to get it out to possibly become a better person and make better decisions, reach out to us.
Most definitely. This is this thing Will and I are doing isn't for everybody, but it is for somebody. And this message will keep going out till you hear it. And there again, the whole point of this is to shine a light on that darkness, because I know how deep it goes. I know how it feels when you're in the midst of it, that it doesn't matter what anybody else says. They don't know your pain. And, people may not know your pain, but they do know the street, because they've been on that street as well. They know the neighborhood. They may not be in your specific place, but they've definitely been in that area. And, again, if Will and I can get to the point where we're here, you can get here as well.
Get it out.
Let's get it out.